Let us therefore as many be perfect, be thus minded. And if anything ye be otherwise minded, God shall reveal even this unto you. So basically it's saying, if you don't think like I do, don't worry, God's going to help you. So, how is it that Paul thought that was different than what he was writing this letter for? In verse 13, it says, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before. So the things that are behind are like the law. All of the things that he did to make himself it says in Galatians that he was just the best Pharisee out of all of his brothers. He was a zealot. And zealot was a sect of Pharisees that were super passionate about following the law of God. I would imagine that it's probably the zealots that crucified Christ. But he doesn't look at that stuff, and he presses forward to the high calling of Jesus Christ. Now, the high calling of Jesus Christ is to his one commandment as a high priest in the order of Melchizedek. His one commandment is to love like he loves, John 15:12. And how does Jesus love? And well, it's not like Moses says, not like love your neighbor as yourself. He loves through the Spirit. He loves with grace, joy, peace, mercy, long-suffering, all of the good stuff, all the gifts of the Spirit. That's how he loves. And so we are to look forward to the high calling of Jesus Christ and try to walk in that same Spirit. And we don't want to look at the things behind us. We don't want to look at the law of Moses, and we don't want to try to love our neighbor as ourselves. Although that's great, it's fulfilled by loving through the Spirit. We don't need to love. We don't need to love the Lord our God. We don't have to focus on loving the Lord our God with all our heart, with all our mind. We don't have to focus on being holy as He is holy. We don't have to focus on any of that stuff because God's done that all for us. And so if we try to focus on it, we're trying to take our righteousness out of His hands. But our righteousness is in His hands. And so no matter what we do, we're always going to be righteous. I read the other day in Romans 8, I think 8:33, it talked about that God is the one who justifies or makes righteous, and so, yeah, who shall lay anything to the charge of God's select? It is God that justifieth. So who can talk bad about you? Because God's the one who made you righteous. So it's not on your works, it's on God's works. And so God, when Jesus was crucified and took the punishment for all of our sins on Him, He was our propitiation. He was our satisfaction of wrath. That allowed God to move into the earth and the veil to be ripped away. Because before that, sin had dominion, and God could not be where sin was at. It's like trying to pour oil and water; they can't combine. But when Jesus was propitiated, when He was crucified, then that means all that sin, all the water dried up, and so now all there is oil on the earth for God to flow through. And that's why we're anointed with oil. And so we have all things that pertain to life and godliness, and it's based on His good work. It has nothing to do with us, and that's to help us because this world is sold under the sin. It's because of the corruption that's in the world. That's the world system is how am I supposed to say this? The world's about give me, and God's kingdom is about giving. where was I going? So, anyways, don't, just because you mess up, it's not based on what you do. It's based on what Jesus did. And so you're righteous because of what Jesus has done. And there's nothing you can do that's going to override what Jesus has done. And like Romans 8:33 says, who can condemn, or who can, I forget what it says exactly, and I closed my Bible. So it says, who can condemn God's elect? It's God who justifies. It's, I don't know, getting tongue-tied.